Hey YouTube, this is City Prepping. In this video, I'm excited to share with you a new series of videos that I'm starting on the channel where I'm going to be taking you through showing how to set up your own suburban homestead. Now, I've got a typical tract house I live in, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you how I'm going to set up chickens. I just recently purchased some. I'm going to be setting up garden beds. I'm going to be installing a rain harvesting system soon, and I'll show you how to set up a solar environment where you can actually produce your own electricity, all within a typical suburban backyard. Now, I'm new to this, especially with gardening. I've raised chickens in the past, but a lot of this is going to be a learning experience, and I'm going to take you through the journey as I learn, show you the mistakes I make. I always welcome feedback, so during this video, if you see anything that you would recommend, feel free to post in the comments section below. And first of all, before we jump in, I do want to thank one other channel, Provident Preppers. I set up a Zoom call with them a few weeks ago, and they created a diagram and showed me how to set all this up. And I'll share the diagram throughout the video. It's going to be really kind of a blueprint for me as I'm building this out. So again, check that channel out. I'll post a link up in the cards above. So let's go ahead and jump in. Let me give you a quick high-level overview of my backyard. As you can see here, I live in a kind of a typical tract house. This is a top-level view. And what I'm going to do is I'll look at 4 different areas. In this video, I'll walk you through each of the different areas of what I'm going to be doing. I do have an area at the top where you can see that I'm going to be storing water, and I've got a fence line. One side at the bottom runs 73 feet long and the other one's 23 feet wide. Now this is a diagram that Provident Prepper produced, and this will be our guide as we go through the video. So what I'll do is I'll walk you through each area, and we'll start with area number 1 right here behind me. Now, as I showed you in the diagram, I'm going to be putting in some strawberries here. I'll be putting some different types of vines that grow on these fences. I'll be putting, some different wires, so the different things I'll be putting in, different types of berries can latch onto that. Currently, we've got a compost tumbler. I don't really use it that much, but I'll try to get into it more. And behind me, I've actually got a really established orange tree. Now, I think I made a mistake of kind of cutting it down, just trimming it back here, and I might have gone a little too much, but I'm hoping it will come back, or at least not get damaged. It seems to be fine so far. But over here, this is going to be our kind of our first spot. Let me back up a little more so you can see this area. This is where, again, I'll be putting in some strawberries over in this area here pretty soon. So what I'll do is I'll walk you through. I'll try to do the best I can recording this myself. This is going to be what I would designate area 2. Let me back this in a little more to show you here a better view of this. And currently, these beds are going this way. They're going parallel with the house and with the direction that the sun goes over. But what I'm going to do is, again, if you look at the diagram, I'm going to move these this direction. The reason that I'm going to do this is down here so that I can kind of, the parts of the garden that are right here, these will be a little more in the shaded area. They'll get less sun, so I can put in things like leafy greens and other stuff that don't need as much sun. And as the sun, or other, this will get more shade on this side, and this area will be more in the sun. So I'll put items over here that need more exposure. So this is what, again, this is area 2 right here. And as you can see behind me, I've got the different, storage wheelbarrow and the water barrels, and I'll talk about those here more in just a second. But again, I'll do kind of a more explanation here in just a second on what I'll be doing on the fence line here, which is putting in more of these berries. So let me try to walk backwards without tripping and recording myself at the same time. And believe it or not, I'm not chewing gum. So this is going to be area number 3 over here. And again, I'll be putting in more garden beds into this area, setting it up kind of the same way as I did in area 2, where I'll run them, let's see, this direction right here. So the part over here will be more in the sun, and this will be more in the shade. And again, we've got a established orange tree here. I trimmed that one back just recently. And by the way, let me show you, I kind of skipped over this one. Sorry, they're doing construction across the street. This one is a lemon tree, and again, I kind of trimmed this one back recently. It actually produces pretty well. And I've tried to be careful not to cut that back too much. And under this wood pile right here, I've got wood from my last house. If you remember, I did projects where I built some pretty big garden beds. What I did is I was able to save a lot of this, and this is Alaskan cedar. It's really, really good wood, probably lasts for quite a long time once I set it up. But whenever I'm setting up garden beds, I just try to avoid using any type of treated wood. I just want to use, this untreated cedar like this. And then again, behind me is the orange tree. Now, let me come over here before I get into the 4th area, which is the kind of the chickens area. What I'm going to be doing is running a fence along here. So I'll put the fence in front of the orange tree, and then the chickens can go on the other side. Now again, behind me, let me just flip the camera around over here. You've got the water storage. And if you remember this IBC tote, this is from a project that I've done before, and I'll put a link in the cards if you want to see that video. This is I believe 250 gallon, and if you look up here, you'll see, I've got the fascia boards, and we're going to be putting rain gutters on that in just a couple of weeks. And so what I'll be able to do is connect that down, hook up this the IBC tote, and create a rain harvesting system. And then for the water storage, what I'll be doing in time is cleaning these out here in the next couple of weeks, filling them back up. Probably for now, I'll put a tarp on them. My goal is to build a little more permanent structure to keep them out of the sun. And I'll be building, or rather putting in some concrete kind of foundations under each one of these. Right now, they're just sitting on dirt. And once I get everything set up, I believe I'll have to go back and calculate roughly around 500 gallons out here. I've got, let me see over my other shoulder. Down there, you can see the 2 brown barrels. Those are waterfall barrels that I've used for years. They're constantly kept updated with fresh water every day. The water runs through it, and then you can barely see the water line running right there, and that irrigates the gardens. This is going to be the chickens area right here. And right now, this area doesn't get a ton of sun during the winter time. In the summer, it gets about half sun. So I think this will be pretty good for them. Keep them nice and cool during the summer. They can, have options to put in, rather to get in the shade. And I've got this wood rack. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to leave it here because the chickens can hop on top and then, hop over the fence. So I'll probably be moving this somewhere else. I'll be filling that up with wood shortly. As you can tell, there's a lot of projects that I've been wanting to get around to back here. I just moved out here a year ago, and I've been so tied up in the last year. Been putting a lot of things off, and I'm going to really try to get caught up to speed over the next couple of months on this area. Better late than never. And again, this area right here, let me just pan back a little so you can see this, and I'll give you some aerial views from the drone. But again, this area will be all the chickens, and I'm going to plant clovers in the next couple of days here to start getting this ready so that when I bring the chickens out, I've got them currently in the garage. They're about a week and a half old. And what I'll do is I'll have this already seeded so the clover will be established. So they'll have an area, they can walk around and kind of dig and root around on. I'll just pan the camera over here like this. And again, this is where I'll be putting in the clovers here shortly. So we've got the orange tree here. And again, I'll put a fence right here on this side. Probably put the gate right about right here. I might put it on the other side, but just, give access to the chickens. And what I'll be doing with this area, let me just get a little better view with the camera. I'll be using this area also over here to add compost, just toss things in. I'll be adding different fruit trees and some type of a nut tree here. And overall, I'm just gonna try to create kind of an encapsulated environment for the chickens. As far as the fence line, 73 feet long, I believe, 23 feet. So I've got a decent amount of area to work with. But this is the beginning phases of what I'll be doing over the next couple of months, couple of years for that matter. Let me just bring this over here. And again, sorry for the shaky camera work. But that's it. That's pretty much what I'm going to be working on. And again, I welcome any feedback, any thoughts, please post those below. And again, I can hopefully look back at this video in the future as kind of a starting point of what I'll be doing. Well, there's so much that I'm excited to learn. I realize there's going to be a lot of challenges. There's going to be a lot of mistakes I make. But that's all part of the process. If you're on the fence about jumping into getting into gardening or raising some chickens or setting up a rain harvest system, my hope is that this video will encourage you to do the same. A lot of this is new to me. I'll be honest with you, I anticipate making a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of things I don't know, but you got to start somewhere. And one of the things I always encourage in this community is develop skills. Gardening is a simple skill that can have really useful applications in so many areas when you get into prepping. My dream is eventually to be able to pick up a large piece of property, but I realize I'm not going to be able to jump right into gardening if I pick up some property and I've never learned how to do it in my own backyard. So for me, this is a real starting point and kind of a springboard, and I'm pretty excited to see what we can produce with this backyard. So I'll be doing videos on the regular. I'll try to keep you updated. If you want to check me out on Instagram, I'll probably be posting a lot there as I have different updates and progress that I make. It's just easier to hop on my phone and do a quick video showing some of the updates, and I'll post a link to that account if you want to check that out. So again, if you have any feedback, any thoughts, feel free to post that in the comments section below. As always, stay safe out there.